Hey guys, what's going on? Rissa here bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we are bringing you our 3-tick fishing guide. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with what tick manipulation is in RuneScape, essentially tick manipulation allows you to skill faster or allows you to do different things within the game itself. So in our case, we are going to tell you guys all about 3-tick fishing and how we found our way that you can essentially 3-tick fish with one hand, and it makes it very, very simple for people who are experts or even people who are beginners to 3-ticking or just tick manipulation in general. So what you're actually going to want to do in this method is you're going to want to use the herb tar method. So in our case, we have some swamp tar in our inventory, we have an herb, we also have the pestle and mortar, we have some feathers, and we also have our rod of choosing. In this case, we are going to be demonstrating this method using barbarian fishing, so we actually have the barbarian rod. So essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing the action of making some herb tar, but you're not going to actually complete the tar. Instead, use that herb tar action to actually manipulate the game into thinking you're doing more ticks than you are in order to catch fish at a faster pace. So in order to do this method, you will actually need the client OS Buddy Pro. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with OS Buddy, it is a third-party client that you are allowed to play RuneScape on, and we are actually utilizing the Pro version. And in the Pro version, as you saw right there, it does have a feature called Shift Click Drop Configuration, or just Shift Click Configuration. So what you want to do is click on the backpack that is also your inventory tab on the right of your screen. In our case, we are actually in the resizable mode. So as you saw right there, we want to right-click. In that case, we want to hit Configure Shift Click Drop. In this case, we actually want to save Shift Click Drop. So for those of you guys who missed it, we are basically, if you hover over your items that are in your inventory, you'll have two options. You'll have a drop option and you will have a disabled option. The disabled option actually allows you to hold down Shift and click on the item, and it will actually not drop out of your inventory. That is why it is so overpowered, and that is why we are actually able to do this all with one hand. So I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys how to set up some sticky keys. So the first thing you want to do is go to the control panel on your computer. You're going to want to go into the ease of access center, and then you are also wanting to go to the make the keyboard easier to use. So as you can see right here, there is an option to choose turn on sticky keys. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what sticky keys are, essentially sticky keys will allow one key to be held down for an infinite amount of time until you turn it off or you press another key. And in this case, we are going to be holding down our shift key because we are going to be utilizing the shift click drop feature in Old School Runescape. So as you can see right there, I actually click turn on sticky keys. We hit apply and then we hit OK, so we are good to go. Now I'm going to actually show you how to make a shortcut of how you want to actually turn on your sticky keys. So step number one is going to be you are going to want to hit the shift key 5 times in a row. Now, hitting the shift key 5 times, and as you saw in the previous screen, we had every single box in the sticky key option menu selected out. So you want to make sure that everything is selected on your sticky keys, and that will help optimize your sticky keys for you to use with this method. So the first step you want to do is you want to click the shift key 5 separate times. This will initiate a box that you will be seeing on the screen right this minute, and then you want to click yes when the pop-up window appears. This pop-up window is going to say, do you want to turn on your sticky keys? And in your case, you do. So essentially, like I said before, you are sticky keying your shift key down. This will infinitely hold down the shift key until you either turn it off or click another key that will disable that sticky key from being held down. So in our case, we want to click yes when the pop-up window appears. And then we also want to make sure that our shift key is held down because we are going to be using our shift key in order to drop our fish out of our inventory. So the third and final step in order to set this up is you actually want to click the key you want to sticky 2 times. Now that is what we were referring to. You want to go ahead when you do select yes in that pop-up window, you want to take your shift key and click it down twice. This will actually activate the key as your sticky key. In order to turn it off, you will select it once, and then if you want to reinitiate that sticky key, you will then hit it twice again. So I want to reiterate that before on the OS Buddy screen, you want to make sure that your inventory is labeled as disabled and dropped, and make sure that the proper things are labeled as disabled. So you're gonna want your swamp tar labeled as disabled, you're gonna want your herb labeled as disabled, your pestle and mortar, your feathers, as well as your rod, all labeled as disabled. Any fish that will be coming in your inventory you will like to drop, and you want to make sure that those are listed on drop. So as you can see right here, we have our sticky keys actually on, and the way that we are 3-ticking is we are selecting our swamp tar, then we are using it with our herb, and we are dropping a fish instantly so that we don't actually make the the herb tar. So for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with how to 3-tick, essentially what you want to do is I always pre-select my tar, and then I actually use it with my herb, and as soon as my rod hits the water, that is exactly when you want to use your swamp tar with the herb, and then you will drop your fish accordingly. Now we are actually using this with one hand. I'm not able to show you guys this because we don't have a webcam on this video, but we are actually doing this with one hand because our shift key is constantly held down. Now going back again to where the OS Buddy comes in, that shift click configure that we actually utilized before, this is where it comes in. So essentially our shift key is being held down this entire time But since we disabled the tar and since we disabled the herb, it basically selects it for us like a normal right click, which is absolutely awesome. So that is how we are able to, 3-tick fish with one hand, and that is how we are able to get such good XP rates. I've actually gotten up to a 110k XP per hour here. Normal AFKing, like I mentioned before in the video, is about 50 to 60k an hour. So it really does significantly increase your XP per hour, and I do definitely think this is overpowered. So thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you have any questions on how I set this method up, why it's so important, why it's so good, why it's so effective, please do leave them in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer every single question that I do have. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this guide, and if you did, make sure you guys do slap a like. I want to try for 25 likes on this video. That would be absolutely incredible. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next video.